Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for our regular Thursday section. My name is Victoria. I am the Outreach Coordinator at Education USA Ukraine and your regular lecturer. And today we've prepared a very interesting topic for you. Namely, we're going to cover applying for undergraduate and graduate programs in the USA. So if you're interested in applying for bachelor's or master's programs in the USA, or you would like to know all the aspects of the admission programs, enhance your profile, and of course, master your application package, then our today's meeting is for you. And of course, we are going to tell you how and when you should start preparing your application and help you along the way. So, to clear up these and many more questions, we have our wonderful guest with us today. I'm delighted to present Ketrін Bun, International Admissions Counselor, and Collін Beylі, Director of Student Services, Enrollment and Data Management at Temple University. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for helping our students prepare their applications and help them achieve their dream of studying in the USA. For anyone who's new, please do not hesitate to put any questions in the question box down below. We'll be happy to answer them. And once again, we'll start. Ketrін, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I'm really excited to be here today. So as she was mentioning, my colleague Colleen and I are going to be talking about how to apply for bachelor and master programs here in the US. My colleague Colleen is going to start the presentation with graduate programs.
Great, thanks, Ketrін, and thank you, Victoria, and welcome everyone. And we're so excited that you're here joining us to learn more about Temple University. Like Victoria said, my name is Collін Beylі. I'm the Director of Student Services, Enrollment Management, and Data Management for the Graduate School at Temple University. And basically what that means is that the Graduate School at Temple oversees all aspects of graduate education at Temple. The only programs we do not oversee are professional programs. And what professional programs mean at Temple is that would range from anything from degrees in law, medicine, dentistry, basically your advanced level professional programs, but all master's programs and PhD programs do fall under us here at the Graduate School. Temple University is located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. You can, just some little kind of numbers about us. We were founded in 1884. We have a little over 37,000 students total, so we're a fairly large university. We have over 10,000 graduate and professional students and about 27,000 undergraduate students. And we have a really robust and very diverse international student community, which we're very proud of. We have over 2,000 international students that represent over 130 countries throughout the globe. And that means for a wonderful experience for you all if you choose to come to Temple. We have a very involved student community with over 350 student organizations that you can take part in. Next slide, please, Ketrін. Thank you. So a little bit more about us. We have 17 schools and colleges within Temple University, and you can see a list here, and these represent everything from the visual and the performing arts, business. Again, I mentioned some of our health professions degree programs like dentistry, podiatric medicine, pharmacy, medicine, the STEM programs, which means science, technology, engineering, and math. So you can pretty much find any discipline you're interested in studying with here at Temple with over 600 academic degree programs to choose from. Next slide, please. So like I mentioned, we're located in Philadelphia. We're on the East Coast of the United States. Philadelphia, I believe, is the 6th largest city in the United States. And what that means is just many opportunities for you, not only with your education, but also with your social life as well. If anyone pays attention to American football, we were very excited that our hometown team, the Philadelphia Eagles, were in the championship this year. Unfortunately, we did lose, but it was a really exciting time to be in Philadelphia. So basically what that means is that you have every benefit of a big city within Philadelphia. So sports, arts, culture, even if you're an outdoors person, we have a number of different, biking and hiking trails here. So there's really something for everyone. And you can see we're in a really nice position, located about halfway between New York City and Washington, D.C. So a really great place to study and a really great place to live as well. Next slide, please. Thank you. So like I said, we're the second largest city on the East Coast. We're home to 15 Fortune 500 companies, for those of you who have an interest in any of our business programs. Very diverse arts, culture, and history within the city. We're the birthplace of the United States, which we're very, very proud of. And we also have a really strong healthcare and technology presence here in the city of Philadelphia. So lots of opportunities for you, not only as an undergrad, but also a graduate student. And we were the first UNESCO World Heritage City established in the United States. Next slide. Thank you. So a little bit about our graduate program. So the graduate school, we oversee 175 different master's programs and 60 different doctoral degree programs, so PhD programs. And because we have such a diverse offering of schools and colleges at Temple that you saw a few slides ago, what that means for you as a graduate student, and Catherine will talk a little bit more about our undergraduate programs, is just mentoring and advising across a wide variety of disciplines. None of our schools and colleges exist in silos. So our engineering faculty and students, for example, collaborate with faculty at the College of Medicine or the College of Science and Technology. Our art and architecture programs collaborate with the College of Liberal Arts. So there's a lot of cross-disciplinary work that goes on within Temple. In terms of tuition support for our graduate students, we have merit-based scholarships available to our master's degree students. And what that means is that they'll evaluate a student based upon their previous academic work. So your undergraduate coursework, GRE scores if they're required for your program. And research and teaching assistantships are also available. They tend to go more toward doctoral students for those positions, although some master's students are eligible for research and teaching assistant positions as well. But typically with our doctoral students, being accepted into a doctoral program at Temple usually means you're provided with full tuition support and a stipend to be a teaching or a research assistant. We also offer fellowships at the university level to support our doctoral students and some of our master's students. And there's also departmental or university awards available for graduate student support. And in addition, the graduate school also provides career counseling and internship support for those of you who are interested in obtaining some experiences outside of the classroom as well. Next slide, please. So for applying to Temple University graduate programs, again, we have over 17 schools and colleges, many, many different programs. So it's important to consult your individual programs very closely. So many of our programs will admit year-round, although some might only admit for fall, some might only admit for spring, but there's usually 3 admission cycles that we follow for the graduate programs: fall, spring, and summer, with the majority of our programs starting in the fall. It's also important to note the type of application that you'll need to submit for your program. So for example, some of our programs, you would submit just a Temple University application, and some of our programs operate on what's called a CAS system, or a centralized application service. Also, it's important to note your standardized test score requirements. So for example, if your program requires the GRE, many of our business programs require the GMAT or the medical college admissions exam, etc. But this is not required for all programs. So again, please make note of what your individual program requires. And you can request a waiver of some of our admissions tests on a case-by-case basis. I'll talk about this in another slide, but we also do require English language test scores for international students, and that can be submitted in the form of the Duolingo, the IELTS, or the TOEFL exam. Most of our graduate programs also require the submission of your official transcripts, or you can also have those evaluated by an organization like the World Education Service, letters of recommendation, your most recent resume or CV, as well as a personal statement in which you discuss what some of your academic and career goals might be and why you think Temple is a good fit for you to do your graduate education. Now, students who are interested in pursuing PhD study, doctoral study, you are strongly, strongly encouraged to research your program's faculty prior to applying to our programs. In doctoral study at Temple and through many universities throughout the United States or throughout the world, making sure you have an appropriate faculty mentor is key to doctoral study. So make sure you do research on departmental faculty to be sure that they'll be able to support you in your research and your academic goals. And some other requirements that might be required for our programs would, for example, be a portfolio submission for our visual arts programs, an audition for some of our performing arts programs, and some of our programs, most of the doctoral programs, do require an interview prior to application review. Next slide, please. And these are the scores that Temple requires for our English language exam. So a minimum of 79 on the TOEFL, a minimum of 6.5 on the IELTS, and a minimum of 110 on the Duolingo. And again, waivers of this can be requested on a case-by-case basis. So for example, if you did your undergraduate study in a country whose native language was English, you would not be required to submit these test results. Next slide, please. And here's just more information on how to contact us if you have more questions about graduate admissions. So you can contact grad@temple.edu. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have regarding graduate education, and our Office of Global Programs, which has more information on international student support and international student transition to doctoral and master's study at the United States. And the graduate school's website is listed at the bottom of the slide there, grad.temple.edu. That's where you can read up more about application requirements and have the links to all of our different schools and colleges, so you can take a look and see which academic program is right for you. So with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague in the undergraduate admissions office, Catherine. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Yes, so now we're going to be speaking a little bit about how to apply for undergraduate degrees here at Temple. So we'll start here. Just to provide you with a little bit of information, I won't kind of repeat some of the stuff Colleen has already talked about, but we do have 17 schools and colleges. We do have over 160 undergraduate majors available. Even though we have over 27,000 undergraduate degree students at Temple, we still have a 13-to-1 student-faculty ratio, which I think is really nice because you still get that one-on-one time with your professor, even though but also all the benefits of like a really large school. We are also an R1 research institute at Temple. So what that means for you as a student is that it's not just about learning in the classroom, but really get that hands-on learning experience in your career, in your field of choice. There's opportunities to apply for funding to do research as well at the undergraduate level, which is also a really great opportunity, as not all schools provide that opportunity for their undergraduate degree students. If you're interested in applying to Temple at the undergraduate degree level, this is sort of the process, and I will walk you through it. We are Common App exclusive, and what that is, the Common App, if you are not familiar, it's a place where you can use one application to apply to multiple universities. So a lot of universities in the US will also use the Common App. So all of your information, like your name, your date of birth, your address, all of those things you will only need to fill out one time. And then there might be specific questions that you'll have to answer for each university that you apply to, but will all be located in one place. There is typically a $55 application fee. If you feel you qualify for a fee waiver, you can select that directly in the Common App. It's in the profile section. We're also going to require you to submit all of your official high school and secondary school transcripts. We do realize that in some cases, that may not be possible to submit official transcripts. In that case, we will work with you on a case-by-case basis. We are SAT, SACT test optional. So that means you can choose whether or not you would like to submit the SAT or ACT test score. Regardless of whether you choose the test score, you're still going to be considered for our merit-based scholarships if you submit a completed application by the deadline. Students usually ask, should I submit it? Should I not submit it? My recommendation to you is if you have taken it, you feel that it reflects you as a student, to go ahead and submit it. But if you took it, maybe you didn't do as well as you had hoped, or maybe you don't have access to be able to take the exam, that is totally okay. You do not have to submit the test score. We also have a requirement for an English language proficiency test score. We do accept TOEFL, IELTS, Cambridge, and Duolingo. I do recommend Duolingo if you are unable to get to a testing site, because it is on demand. It also tends to be one of the cheaper exams to take as well. There are additional documents are optional, such as letters of recommendation. I highly recommend submitting those if you are able to, though, because it does give us good insight into how you are as a student. Also, if you are applying for any arts programs or music programs, you might have to submit an audition. We do have information about that too on our website. It's very detailed about maybe what types of requirements they're looking for those auditions. So at Temple, we do a very holistic review of our applications that are submitted. So we are not just looking at your transcripts, we are looking at, any personal statements you write, those letters of recommendations, those extracurricular activities that you will write about. So we do look at everything as we're reviewing, but a lot of students still want to know sort of what the average GPA, or if they're submitting an SAT or ACT test score, what those are. So you can see that information listed here. Again, these are averages, so some students have gotten higher, some students have gotten lower. And again, we don't just look at GPAs and SAT and ACT test scores, but these are the averages for fall of 2022 and fall of 2021. Again, GPA, that is been calculated by us in-house. So we know that not all systems follow the 4.0 American grading scale. So you do not have to convert that yourself. We do all of that in-house here. So some students do want to submit like a WES, translated document or have their credentials evaluated. We do not require that for the undergraduate degree programs here at Temple. If you are academically qualified for direct entry into Temple, but maybe your English language skills aren't quite up to par or do not meet our direct entry requirements, we do have a conditional admissions program at Temple. And depending on what your English language score is, we can place you into CAP level 1, 2, or 3. And when you finish CAP level 3, you will be directly enrolled into the university. The really great thing about our conditional admissions program is while you're improving your English language skills, you can still earn up to 18 credits towards your degree program. So that's really nice, so you don't fall behind or feel like you're falling behind your typical class where you would have entered with, because you'll still be able to earn those credits as you are improving upon your English language skills. There's also scholarship opportunities as well for our CAP students. And then also you do not need to take the TOEFL or IELTS. You're just automatically enrolled into the university once you have completed that CAP level 3 program. At Temple, we also have different campuses as well. While Philadelphia is our main campus, we also have campuses in Rome and Tokyo. So some students like to do our entry year programs. So you will spend 1 year in our Rome campus and then complete your degree in Philadelphia, or spend 1 year at our Tokyo campus and then complete your degree at our main campus in Philadelphia. It's still the same Temple education. All language of instruction is in English. The application process is the same. You would just select which campus you would like to apply for. The really great thing about this is you still get that hands-on learning experience. It's just in a new city, so you're exploring the city of Rome or the city of Tokyo. There's a lot of fun cultural activities that are held throughout the semester. For example, cooking classes or playing football. You get tours of the city as well. So a lot of students like to take advantage of this opportunity. There's also a lot of scholarship opportunities as well for our Rome campus. So some students prefer to start in Rome also because it's lower cost to do so. There's also housing scholarships as well for our Rome campus. So if you are applying for an undergraduate degree program at Temple, it might be something of interest of you, so you get the benefits of the Temple education, but exploring 2 different cities. The cost to attend Temple varies. So our College of Liberal Arts is, I think, around our most low-cost tuition, and it's around $30,000 listed here. But it does go up to about $40,000, and that is for our Fox School of Business. All of the other schools and colleges fall usually somewhere between $30,000 to $40,000. Our housing as well varies depending on what type of accommodation you would choose to live in. So that it can be, a personal ensuite, it can be a living learning community where you're with students who have similar interests as you. So for example, we have a global living learning community where we have students from all across the globe who are interested in sharing their culture and their passions for travel. We have an honors living learning community. So students who are in the honors program will live together. They might take special classes together. So it depends on which type of housing you live in, and that will determine the cost. You can also choose to live off campus as well. And I definitely recommend to work very closely with Leah and Morena from our International Student Affairs team, because just to make sure that you're going to be working with them to get a landlord who they trust, and that you can make sure that you get a good housing off campus as well. But that is a possibility too. But so there you can sort of see the base rates that we have listed. But we also provide a lot of scholarship opportunities for our international students. So if you submit a completed application by the deadline, you will be considered for our merit-based scholarships. Those range from $1,000 to full tuition for our first-year applicants. The higher up the scholarship, the more competitive it is, but we do provide opportunities from $1,000 to full tuition. If you are a transfer applicant, the merit-based scholarship is lower. It ranges from $1,000 to $5,000 per year for our transfer applicants, and that is based off of the GPA of your university transcript. All of our merit-based scholarships, though, you are reviewed for merit-based scholarships even if you choose not to submit testing. I just want to make that clear. We also have artistic and athletic scholarships as well. Those scholarships vary based upon a talent review. So if you, if you're submitting those portfolios for those art reviews and things like that, those are what are going to be reviewed for those art scholarships. Also, there's some departmental scholarships, so do reach out specifically to the school or college you are interested in applying to see if there are any scholarship opportunities available for your specific degree program. We also have sister city scholarships. Unfortunately, I don't think that's probably going to apply here, but we do have a list of our sister cities on our website, and there is an application that you can fill out if you are from one of our sister cities or are attending school at one of our sister cities. And then we also have scholarships that you can apply for separately. So we have our YUS scholarship that ranges from $2,000 to $10,000 per year. And that is a stackable scholarship. So if you have received a $10,000 merit scholarship, and then you receive a $10,000 YUS scholarship, you can stack those for $20,000. That question is a creative-based prompt. We're looking for students like, why are you excited about pursuing your undergraduate degree in the US? Or why are you excited about pursuing your degree at Temple specifically? And it's just a chance for you to share your creativity with us. We have had students submit eloquent essays. We have had some do really fun TikTok videos or YouTube videos. So it's just a chance for you to share your creativity with us. And then we also have the You Are Welcome Here scholarship. That is a $20,000 per year scholarship. That one is much more competitive. It's typically only 1 or 2 students will receive that scholarship per year. And that one is not stackable. So if you receive that scholarship, it will replace any merit scholarship that you may have received. And that is recognizing international students who demonstrate a vision for enhancing intercultural understanding. So if you've taken any leadership positions in your time during your high school, then you can write about that in your essay. So definitely going to be reviewing those essays that you're writing, or if you're doing a video as well, you can also submit a video for the You Are Welcome Here scholarship. It is important to point out that only first-year applicants can apply to the You Are Welcome Here scholarship, but both first-year and transfer applicants can apply to the YUS scholarship. One thing I always like to mention as you're looking for schools in the US is looking at that international student support. At Temple, we do have unparalleled student support for our international students. We have our ISSS team, our International Student and Scholar Services, and they're going to help you navigate legal documentation, visa and immigration questions, and provide really personalized advising services to help you with anything visa related. So they are a very great resource that we have here at Temple. We also have our International Student Affairs team, and those Leah and Marina, who I mentioned earlier. So they put on a lot of great social events throughout the year. They also help with leadership and career development training. And they're also your first point of contact. So they're really there to advocate for you. So if you have any issues throughout your time at Temple or any questions about anything, they're kind of your first go-to people. And if they cannot solve the issue, they know exactly where to direct you to who to have you help. So those are some of the, we also have here on the side, you can see we have English language support, academic tutoring, we have world-class facilities, we have a lot of, we're committed to campus safety, so we have 24-hour security and walking escorts should you feel unsafe. So these are just some of the support systems that we have in place here for our international students. And just lastly, I thought I would talk a little bit about the career services and opportunities for our international students. At the top of the page, it says Broad Street runs north-south, but Temple leads everywhere. Broad Street is one of the main streets that sort of runs along through the city of Philadelphia, which is where that saying comes from. So here are just a few facts. So we have 91% average of first-year students who have chosen to enroll in Fly-in-For. So Fly-in-For is a program we have at Temple that I encourage students to sign up for should they come to Temple. What it is it's a commitment between you and the university that you will graduate within 4 years if you meet certain requirements. And if it takes you longer than the 4 years, Temple will pay the remaining tuition fees. And I just think it's a really great opportunity for our undergraduate students to take a part in. A lot of students automatically think that it's going to be 4 years like the undergraduate program is going to take 4 years, but if you want an internship and you want to study abroad or you want to do all of these things, it could take longer if you're not working very closely with your academic advisor. Because they're really there to make sure that you're getting all of the classes that you need to take, that you're able to fit in those internships and those study abroad opportunities and still graduate within the 4 years. But again, what this commitment is if it takes longer than the 4 years, Temple will pay the remaining tuition fees. So it's a kind of almost like a back-end scholarship, but also a commitment that you will, be able to graduate and then go forth and use your degree to pursue the career that you're passionate about. We also have over 9,000 positions posted annually to our internship and professional job platforms. So there's a lot of opportunities for that hands-on learning experience in the field that you are passionate about. Utilizing the city of Philadelphia too. As my colleague had mentioned, being in Philadelphia is one of the great parts about Temple. We have over 149,000 Temple alumni in the Philadelphia area that we can connect you with, depending on what you're interested in. So it's a really another great resource to utilize here at Temple University. So that's it for the undergraduate presentation portion of it. So if you have any questions about applying for an undergraduate degree program at Temple, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Catherine. Thank you so much, Colleen. I immensely enjoyed your presentations. It was really informative, and I think a lot of our students who are listening to us right now have really benefited from the information you've shared. And just to remind everyone, if you do still have any questions left, we'll be happy to answer any of them. And please do not hesitate to reach out. But while the students are thinking about it, I would suggest a question of my own, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So, Catherine, you've mentioned merit-based scholarships and athletic scholarships, but I was wondering, is there an opportunity for international students to obtain a need-based scholarship, and what would be the requirements for that?
That's a really great question. Unfortunately, at Temple, for incoming students, we do not offer need-based scholarships. We only have merit-based scholarships available. For applying to other schools in the US, there is something called CSS profile or ISFAA profile that I know that some international students can fill out to be considered for those need-based scholarships. But unfortunately, at Temple, we only offer merit-based scholarships for our international students.
Thank you so much. That's really informative. And actually, we've got a question from the audience. So Artem is asking, it was stated that the deadline for merit-based scholarships for undergraduate programs is the 1st. So is it still possible to apply for the scholarship and be considered for it?
That's a really great question. So our deadline for fall 2023 has been extended. So our new deadline is March 15th. So there's still time to get your application in, and students who submit their application by March 15th will still be considered for those merit-based scholarships.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Artem, for joining us. And I actually have another question of my own regarding recommendation letters. So you've mentioned that you work exclusively with the Common Application system, but a lot of students find it difficult to learn whether they should send their recommendation letters directly to the platform, or whether their teachers, their mentors, their trainers should send them directly to the admissions offices. So I would like to hear your intake on that, and what would you recommend them to do?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So at Temple, while we are Common App exclusive, we do find that most of our supporting documentation does not get sent through the Common App. It is sent directly to us. So we do have at Temple, it's international documents at temple.edu. So a lot of teachers or counselors will be sending those letters of recommendations directly to that email address. And then I've also had the question kind of relatedly to recommendations. Sometimes English is not their first language. So they might write their letter of recommendation in their native language. And then you can submit that with a translated copy for us to be able to read as well.
Yes, thank you so much. That was actually going to be my follow-up question. So thank you once again. That's really informative. And I think a lot of our students are going to be relieved to hear that. And actually another question regarding work on campus. So are international students eligible to work on campus? And what are some of the opportunities available specifically to Ukrainian students?
Yeah, so for undergraduate students, international students are eligible to work on campus for up to 20 hours a week when classes are in session. And so we do actually have students in our office who are working. So it might be a job, working with in the admissions office or other places like that on campus. Now, this money is not going to make a significant dent in tuition fees, I will say, but it can help with you maybe getting groceries or, going out with friends. So it'll kind of help with those sort of smaller everyday fees that you might have to pay as a student at Temple.
Thank you so much. That's really informative. And Colleen, I've actually got a question for you, if you don't mind. So a lot of our students, specifically who are looking to apply to master's or doctoral programs, are worried about the additional tests they might need to take, so GRE or GMAT. So could you maybe clear up the programs that these tests are a requirement for, and maybe some that do not require these tests?
Sure, that's a great question. And I don't have a specific number in terms of which programs require and which do not, but I can say I feel like the majority of our master's programs now, it is optional to submit GRE or GMAT. For most PhD programs, however, they are still required, and that's fairly consistent amongst most universities. But like I mentioned before when I was speaking earlier, it is really best to, like, let's say, for example, you're interested in the PhD in computer science. So make sure to go to the College of Science and Technology's website and look at the Department of Computer and Information Science and see what those requirements are for applying to the master's or for the doctoral program. And again, like I mentioned before, you can request a waiver on a case-by-case basis. So let's say, for example, you're applying to the PhD program in computer and information science. You already have a master's degree in that discipline. You've been published. You have glowing letters of recommendation. You can submit a request to be considered for a waiver of the GRE requirement.
Okay, thank you so much. That's a wonderful answer. And I think something that a lot of our students would find really encouraging. And another question I often get asked is, do students who have already obtained, let's say, a bachelor's degree or even a master's degree, do they need to submit a translation of their degree and the accompanying supplement? Or is there any evaluation processes that they need to undergo in order to have their application be successful?
Yes, that's a great question. So if you're applying to the master's or the doctoral programs, the graduate school requires official transcripts, and they need to be in the original language as well as an English translation. Or you can request, or you can have your transcripts evaluated by one of the evaluation services, like, for example, ECE or the World Education Service. So you can do either one of those options. Most of our graduate students end up submitting the documents directly from their university as opposed to submitting a WES, but a WES is acceptable as well.
Thank you so much. That's really informative. And to any of you still listening to us, I would like to encourage you to ask and reach out to us with any of your burning questions. And a final question from myself, actually to both of you, is how would you describe your ideal student, like your ideal applicant? What are some of the maybe hidden requirements for students, and what are some of the things you look for in a prospective student?
Yeah, so I can answer first. Yeah, so for our students, like I said, we truly do a holistic review of our applications. So a lot of students will only submit like their transcript, and they may not spend as much time on the common application, filling out extracurricular activities or putting in those additional notes and things. I highly recommend doing that because it gives us an opportunity to really see you as a student, as a person, sharing your passions, what makes you excited about, maybe the degree you're applying for. So I would definitely recommend spending time on those extra sections in the Common App as well, because otherwise we only have the grades to go off of when we're reviewing your application, which grades are important. I'm not saying that they're not important, but just as far as hidden things, definitely take time to focus on listing those extracurricular activities out, or spend some extra time as you're writing that personal statement. We also, as I said, recommendations are optional, but I like seeing those as well. So if you do have time to reach out to a counselor or a teacher, just so that we can get an idea about what kind of student you are in the classroom, and maybe what kind of student that would transfer into being a student here at Temple as well.
And I'll echo everything that Katie just said, but also with graduate study, it's a little bit different because you really need to want to go to graduate school. So anyone who's evaluating a student who's applying to a master's program or a PhD program, again, grades are important, but they really want to know why. Why are you choosing to go get your master's in business administration? What are your career goals, and why will a master's or a PhD from Temple help get you there? So your personal statement is very important, and also letters of recommendation. And again, letters of recommendation are required for most of the master's and PhD programs, and the numbers vary. It's usually anywhere between 2 to 3 that you'll be required to submit from your program. And some important people to keep in mind to submit those letters for you would be professors, or for example, your supervisor at work, who can really speak to your ability and why you would be a good fit to go on for graduate education.
Thank you so much for your wonderful answers and for sharing your knowledge with us students. I've learned so much from you today, and I encourage any of you who have maybe missed the live stream or were unable to join to not hesitate to reach out to Education USA Ukraine directly and maybe sign up for a free consultation if you still have any questions left, or if you would like to get an in-depth knowledge into the application process or get some help for proofreading your essay and polishing your application. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Colleen. Your presentations were wonderful, and I really look forward to maybe working with you in the future and sending some of my students your way. Yes, so thank you for making this meeting a wonderful and a really memorable one. And thank you for listening to us. Thank you who are watching at home. Thank you the students who have joined us today. And we look forward to getting in touch with you and helping you on your journey to US study. So stay safe. Do not give up on your dreams, and do not forget to sign up for any future meetings if you would like to get some more great content from Education USA. So thank you, all of you, and goodbye.
Thank you, Victoria.